Greetings everyone, I'm returning back to the world of Taoist magic. In this video, I want to talk about a concept known in Taoism as the priest's magical personality or the magician's magical persona. This law is not unique only to Taoist practice. In fact, it can be found in many different traditions and occult orders. Within the tradition that I practice, there is a law known as the law of names, one of the 6 traditional laws of Taoist magic, which involves knowing the true name of an object, a person, or a place. Once the true name is known, a magical practitioner can have influence and authority over something for better or for worse. This works because the belief is this: knowing something or someone's true name means you have a total understanding of whatever you are trying to manipulate or control. A name is an energetic link. It's essentially a shortcut into somebody's subconscious mind or soul. It's also a definition. Once you define someone or something, you can tap into it on a deeper level. Having such intimate knowledge of a person would allow the magician to change the target's emotions, to plant false memories in their minds, to make them suspicious or paranoid. For example, do not trust this person and only trust me. Or, on a more positive note, to heal them psychologically, to inspire and motivate them. This is a process which involves qi and shen transmission, to send pockets of qi into the subject's mind and body from great distances, or remove qi from someone's mind and body. Whether it's right or wrong, knowing the true name allows you to play God with objects, places, people, and the environment. It works the same way for the natural world as well. For example, within Taoist weather magic, knowing the true name of a deity of a certain wind direction or the name of a god of storms would be enough for a skilled magician to manipulate these forces, to either destroy the storm or manifest one into being. Another example would be knowing the true secret name of a deity or spirit which resides inside of a plant or herb. Once the name is known, the herb can be used as an ingredient for rituals. Part of understanding this law is based on protecting yourself from it to begin with. It would not be wise to try to find someone's true name if you yourself don't have protection. When I say protection, I'm not talking about talismans and candles, but the creation of your own secret name, secret poem, secret sigil, and even secret language. These are much better defenses against unwanted interference from others. This is why in Taoism, when a person joins a Taoist lineage or sect, they are instantly given a secret magical name which prevents them from being controlled. Usually Taoist names are not like the names we might be used to in the Western world. They are more like words. For example, Zhuge Liang's Taoist name was Wo Long, meaning sleeping or crouching dragon. Zuo Si's Taoist name was Master Blackhorn. Sima Huai's Taoist name was Water Mirror. You get the idea. In ancient times, it was enough just to have a secret name, and you would never share it with the uninitiated. Sharing your name with someone would be the ultimate act of trust. Nobody knows my magical name. It isn't Lord Josh Allen. I cringe when I see people on YouTube revealing their names. Not to pass judgment, but you are asking for trouble. Don't let others define you. In some Taoist sects, there are names known as law names, otherwise known as Fa Ming. These secret names must be continually empowered, a process known as feeding the most secret name. This is a visualization exercise in which the Taoist must meditate and imagine a glowing pearl. This pearl is symbolic of the secret name, and it is housed within the lower dantian area. When the practitioner speaks certain incantations, this pearl will rise up from the middle dantian and blend together with the 5 virtues contained within the 5 yin organs, and they go through this amazing, incredible alchemic transformation, which I will cover at a later date in detail. It is thought that if the Taoist does not practice the feeding meditation on a regular basis, the secret name will not function as it should, as this name helps the practitioner influence the elements, control the weather, communicate with immortals and spirits. Law names are not the same as lineage names. They are more akin to magical passwords. To apply these teachings to the modern day, Fa Ming names work like Wi-Fi passwords. Once you know the password, you can then make use of the wireless internet and interact with it. Using Fa Ming allows the magician to interact with invisible forces. They are known as law names because the practitioner will use them to summon the immortals who enforce the law. The process of finding your secret magical name will vary greatly depending on the order or sect that you belong to. If you join a Taoist sect, the senior priest, known as a senior abbot or Zhu Qi, will likely reveal the name to you through a unique Chinese poem written in Chinese characters. Sometimes the new disciple of the sect would join a secret magical family, which is essentially a lineage, and you become a part of a much bigger fraternity that way. If you are like me and do not belong to any kind of magical order or family, then the name is acquired through divination. You would allow fate, destiny, heaven, the universe, Lamat, to grant you a sacred name that is reserved only for you. You should not create your own name because this would make it easier for others to find it. For example, if I decided to call myself Master Lamat or Master Feather Fan, people could easily guess it and take advantage. So you need to let the divine grant you a name via meditation or ritual. Sadly, these days, just because you have a new name does not mean you can't be targeted. Over the centuries, baneful practitioners have exploited this system, finding loopholes in it, bypassing the secret name by attacking the target's personality. Usually the personality of a magician is the same as his or her mundane one, which is why it is so important, more important, to cultivate an elaborate magical persona, which is different from the person's everyday demeanor. The magical persona is something very beautiful and powerful. It is, as many would say, the higher self. It can take years to develop this greater self, and it's always a work in progress. Usually the persona is a manifestation of ultimate divinity. It is the best version of yourself, which exudes confidence, creativity, and charisma. It is a larger-than-life amplification of everything you stand for. It makes no difference if you are a janitor or a truck driver, or if you work in fast food, or if you're the CEO of a massive company. The persona is the greatness that you are deep down. I have a friend who I'm helping at the moment, assisting him with his magical persona, and he is very doubtful of his own potential. Without going into it too much, he said to me, "I'm a cleaner in a hospital. I make minimum wage, I drive a crappy car, and I don't feel powerful." He was basically beating himself up. I told him, occupation, financial status, physical appearance, position in society, all of that, those are all irrelevant to the greater, higher self. When you go into a ritual state and you're deep in flow, the spirits that you are communicating with don't give a damn what car you're driving or how much money you made last month. Sure, magic can help you with financial success, but that isn't the be-all and end-all of occultism. Your ritual persona needs to be intense and extroverted. It needs to be assertive and calm, as well as strategic and level-headed. You need to be in charge. When you stand in your magic circle, you are in the center of your universe. Start appreciating that. Don't get me wrong, don't allow your ego to run wild. You wouldn't want that. But certainly don't be insecure. The persona isn't just a mindset, it's a way of behaving. When you see Taoists, or any magicians for that matter, practicing rituals, pay attention to their mannerisms, their posture, tone of voice. They are very commanding. When you say incantations, you don't speak in your natural voice, you use a magical, exaggerated, assertive tone, making every word feel meaningful and important. When you speak not from your throat, but from your core. Your chants and spells are not spoken, but vibrated from the center of your body. There is a musicality to your voice. When you say the sacred words, they roll off of the tongue in a natural way. Also, you shouldn't be reading from any book when saying them. You should memorize the words by mind and by heart. When the words are said, they are also felt. I see a lot of videos on YouTube of magicians practicing, and it's obvious that they are not enthusiastic enough. This is due to a poorly developed magical persona. An example of someone in our community with an absolutely legendary, brilliant magical persona is Poke Runyon. He's been working on his for decades. He talks about something known as the magician's gaze. Body language and eyes are important here. If eyes are the windows to the soul, then the soul should be a mirror of the higher self. If you've had the chance to see my weather ritual videos, you will notice when staring at the flame, I never blink. When I'm in magical persona mode, I am fixated entirely on the goal in front of me. My mind does not wander, my concentration is unbreakable, my mind is clear, and I'm prepared for spiritual contact, hence the intense look. It's the same story with posture. You might slouch in your living room watching TV as your mundane self, but you shouldn't be so relaxed and carefree on the altar. You should be determined, because the divine is working through your movements. Cultivating a strong magical persona is like adding an exclamation point to every single ritual or act that you do. It adds another layer of power to every spell. Have you ever seen those videos where people say why your magic isn't working? Now, I don't have a clue why your magic might not be working, but hardly anyone brings up the importance of the self. People are too preoccupied with the external spirits. As Kong Ming said, first organize the inner, then organize the outer. Start the internal work first before you explore the external. The internal work is, of course, crafting and molding your inner sorcerer. Over time, I would say a period of quite a few years, this magical persona will begin to cross over to your mundane life a little bit. It isn't just a ritual personality that you tune into. Eventually, it will become your true self if you want it to. There is a quote in the Tao Te Ching. It says, "In the beginning, what is natural will become unnatural, and what is unnatural will soon become natural." This relates to the persona perfectly. Usually in the beginning, when a novice starts tapping into this higher self, he or she might feel like they are acting or role-playing, because it's a new experience and at first it feels a little weird. But over time, you overcome this and the process becomes more natural and organic. You accept it as your true self. The best methods to feed this persona are a few things, really. You need a secret name, as I've already mentioned, and also a secret sigil that may just be a nonsense sigil. In other words, to everyone else, it's meaningless, but it's your energetic signature that nobody else should know. Ask your oracle for guidance. For example, use the I Ching or the magical arts of Zhuge or allow a trustworthy entity to possess you so it can use your hands to write down images. Once you have your sigil, keep it to yourself. When I make ritual videos, I always make sure my personal sigil is not visible to the camera. There also exists the Taoist's personal seal, known as a heart seal. There are 24 of them, and they correspond to the 24 Taoist monasteries, mountains, and counties located within the Chengdu province. These small seals are incredibly powerful, usually made of wood. They are traditionally used to make the thunder deity obey and recognize the magician's authority. Written on them are esoteric messages and consecrated symbolism which allow the seal to become alive. Not only alive, but intelligent. It is also able to recognize things that are auspicious and things that are evil, and it divides yin and yang as it receives instructions from the celestial immortals. It has a level of true awareness to it. The seal is chosen depending on the year the person is born, and the emergency seal is chosen based on the hour of his or her birth. As I've said, you shouldn't choose it yourself. Also, you can use certain seals and imprint them on your ritual objects so they only work for you. So let's say, for example, you are a ceremonial magician and you live with your family. And let's say you worry about a family member stumbling across one of your altered tools. You can program such items to work just for you and nobody else. That way, nobody's going to get hurt or risk offending the deities. I've often thought about imprinting my personal seal onto my feather fan, just to make a stronger energetic link with it. Such methods also contribute to the development of the magical persona. You can have your own secret name, secret sigil, personal seal, and you can even add another layer to the persona by speaking a completely different language that you normally wouldn't speak. In my case, when I'm on the altar, I will say a lot of the incantations in Chinese. I never speak Chinese in my mundane life, so this is a fantastic way to strengthen the inner sorcerer. When you introduce a new language, it reinforces in your own mind, this is my higher self. This version of me is different from my mundane self. Not just the tone of voice or the way that I speak, but the language I speak. The goal is to make the persona as different, but at the same time as authentic as you can. You're not pretending, you're becoming. After a decade or so, you start to realize something profound. This persona that you've been using for rituals all this time really isn't just a persona. In fact, it was the real you all along. The mask that you wear in society, the facade that you portray in front of your co-workers, even friends and family, the mask you put on in the public is just a persona. It isn't your higher self. It's what you use to conform to certain norms. When you put an end to conformity, you open yourself up to opportunity. And that's what magic is all about. Creating, manifesting, and bringing about opportunity to be successful and to be enlightened. So thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you soon.